was 35 years old. I had more money than I knew what to do with it.
So you went broke at 29.
Yes.
And 35, you were back already with so much money.
So much money, traveling around the country. I ended up a place where I had this exterior financial success that I had worked so hard to achieve, but internally I wasn't happy. Why?
Hello, great people. So this is the African Traveler as always. And today, a great inspirational friend as well. So yeah, welcome to the channel, Kunga.
Thank you very much. I'm so very happy to be a guest on this channel. I feel honored to be in your presence and to be talking to some of your particular audience members who follow the African Traveler on all his journeys.
I'm also honored you to be here. I know you're a busy man. Mkulima halisi. So if you don't understand, that is a great farmer as well. So yeah, the reason why I just wanted you to be in the show today is just to get to know who's Kunga and just your journey, your journey that you've been through to the time you came from the States to Kenya and you established a great farm. And yeah, Kunga, just introduce yourself. Who's Kunga?
Asante Sana. I want to say, talking about the journey couldn't be any more fitting, because what you do all the time is journeys. You take people on these interesting journeys. Yeah. So now I know one of the ideas you have and visions is now not only give people journeys into different parts of a country and places, but I know you're going to be going to journeys of people's stories, people's minds, a lot of interviews and stuff like that. But greetings, my name is Kunga Kihohia, and I would say that I'm a child of the Most High. I'm a child of the universe, right? There's not too many things that probably, I'm a person of many different trades. I've been a serial entrepreneur. I'm currently engaged in an initiative around organic, natural, holistic living. And that's where the farm comes in. The farm is a component of a larger initiative that deals with natural, holistic living and helping to inspire, motivate, encourage Kenyans, East Africans, and Africans. By the way, Africans on the continent and in the diaspora, through a movement to adopt a more natural, holistic lifestyle approach towards maintaining, meaning if you're healthy, how do you maintain your health? Or if you've lost it, regaining your health. So that was a quick plug for our mission statement. But nonetheless, yes, I'm Kenyan by heritage. Both parents are Kenyan, but I was born in South Florida. And I did come back home for the first time when I was about 10 years old. I stayed for 5 years, and that's where I learned to speak Swahili. I learned to speak my mother tongue. And in that, I went back high school, university. I went to finish university. I got into the business world, and I climbed up.
Which university exactly?
I went to Florida International University. It's called FIU. It's the largest university in Miami. As a matter of fact, I was very fortunate. I joined student government. You know, Kenyans, how much Kenyans love politics, right? Yeah. So I joined student government, and I climbed. I was a senator. I became the finance chair, and I ran for president, and I was beat. By the way, this is how I learned the power of a woman. A woman beat me.
A woman beat you?
Can you imagine that, right?
My God.
But I humbled myself. I put my tail between my legs. I came back. I worked in her administration, and I came back the next year, and I ran, and I won. So the largest university in Miami, called Florida International University, has over 60,000 students. When I was there, I had a large budget for the students, government, and I was very fortunate. So, and I studied business while I was there. And when I finished business school, I started climbing the corporate ladder. I was in banking, mortgages. I had a little, success in that space. But I discovered something very interesting after a while, that I am psychologically unemployable. Me?
Why?
Me and jobs, we don't mix, almost like oil and water. Listen, they weren't paying me what I thought I was worth. It was taking up the best 8 to 10 hours of the day. It wasn't what I felt my purpose and destiny on this earth was. And on top of that, it wasn't even affecting my health. So I didn't have the courage to quit, but my spirit had already left the job there. If you know, I was making great money, over $50,000 a year. And at that time, and this was more than a decade, or 15 years ago. So I was making great money at the time, but my spirit had already left. I didn't have the guts to quit, so I started showing up 2 hours late, taking 3-hour lunch breaks, and I had to give them, I forced them to fire me. And I ended up in a very difficult time, my brother. Age 29, going on 30 years old at the time, I ended up homeless. A lot of people don't know that.
29 going to 30, you went homeless.
I went homeless. Can you imagine, after going to university, being a student government at age 29 years old, after having had a run of being university, going to business school, focus specialized in entrepreneurship, management, coming out of school, climbing the corporate ladder, student government president while I was there. Because I found myself in a place where me and the job, we didn't necessarily work, and I ended up being fired. I ended up...
Because of coming late,
Yeah, and my spirit had left already. And I was trying to give them a reason to fire me. Okay, because I did not have the guts to quit. Okay? And so with that, once I got fired, with no income coming in, no business succeeding, nothing, I ended up sleeping in a car on 183rd Street, 441. I still remember. I can see it like yesterday in the parking lot of an office building. And funny enough, my mother lived in West Palm Beach, Florida, which is about an hour north of Miami. But I said I'm not going back home. I got myself in this situation. I got myself out. And that's how, by that time also, I'd started studying like success philosophy, books like Think and Grow Rich, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, How to Win Friends and Influence, things, these type of success books. And then that's how I even discovered this idea of abundance consciousness versus scarcity consciousness. And what I'd mentioned in, if those who saw the farming video, I talked about being broke is a temporary condition, but being poor is a state of mind. It's a consciousness. And you can change being broke, but it's very, very hard to change being poor. And I knew I wasn't poor. I knew I had found myself in a position where I was broke and I could change it. And so I ended up connecting with other like minds. I made a very deep resolution, by the way, to get money as an issue out of the way. And so I found a business mentor, I found a business vehicle, and we ended up going and working really hard. And by the time I was 35 years old, I had more money than I knew what to do with it.
So you went broke at 29.
Yes.
And 35, you were back already with so much money.
So much money, traveling around the country, traveling around the world, every other week, changing cars, rental cars, staying in fancy hotels, all this thing. I was sort of living a life because I had dreamt about it, I had worked about it, I and visualized it, all the stuff they tell you to do when you're about success, right? Yeah. But something very ironic happened, my brother.
What happened?
And no one could have ever told me this when I was broke. That I ended up a place where I had this exterior financial success that I had worked so hard to achieve, but internally I wasn't happy. Why? Because the way the team that I associated myself with, the business we were involved with, and the way that we went about working the business, I ended up compromising and sacrificing on a lot of my principles and a lot of my values. One of the things I didn't mention to you when I was in university is when I first got exposed to the health and wellness lifestyle. That's when I first learned about becoming a vegetarian. I got into things like yoga, breathing exercise, meditation, all things around natural holistic health and wellness. So I had the wellness side and then I had the business side, right? But the wellness side, I couldn't make a living at it. And that's how I ended up getting further into the business world. And so I ended up compromising on a lot of my principles around wellness in order to achieve that financial success. Because the way we were in a very cutthroat business, high sales and marketing, we had models like if it's not making dollars, it's not making sense, right? And so I ended up with this financial success, but I wasn't happy internally. I ended up, by the way, about 160 kilos, okay, about 350 pounds in that sense. I started developing some of these early life.
And this, your journey to adding this much weight.
Yes.
The things that you decided to eat and engage in.
Yeah, the lifestyle that I would say we were burning the candle on both ends of the stick. Chasing money, not really caring about health, eating whatever. And I keep telling myself, oh, I'm going to get this money and then I'm going to live my passion, what I really love. Oh my goodness. That was near fatal, right? And as a matter of fact, it was fatal for a couple of my business partners. That was the camel that broke that was the camel that broke its end of the sickle, something along those lines. But that was the thing that was the paradigm shift for me. A couple of my business partners ended up succumbing towards lifestyle diseases. And it was a wake-up call for me saying, hey, if there wasn't a change in my own life, my fate might be their fate. And I did not want that because, we worked all this hard and they couldn't even enjoy what we worked hard for. To make a long story short, I ended up saying, okay, things had to change. And that's what the genesis of the Back to Nature movement, right? I said, I have to go back to the things I love, health and wellness. And I had to go back to my roots. I hadn't been home for maybe 16 years, but Mpesa was happening. The Africa Rising narrative was happening. All these things I was hearing. I said, let me come get my feet on the ground. So I came here, back home. I was supposed to be here for 3 weeks. Was my return ticket. Yeah, I've been here now for 5 years, my brother. Got here December 2014. Right? 80% of my time here, 20% of my time there. Yeah. And we started this Back to Nature movement, in a sense, because it was part of helping to save my own life. But in the process of saving my own life, if I could be able to help and motivate others in Kenya, because there was this rise of these lifestyle diseases and a lot of people were experiencing pain and suffering and premature death. And so I said it was a win-win situation. I could help save my own life. I could help to motivate others. And that's where we started Back to Nature. And by the way, that is actually when Back to Nature Organic Farm started.
2014.
I'll say about, let's say towards the end of 2015. That's when we started doing the visualizing what we were going to do, what particular value chain. We wanted to focus on avocados, how the farm was going to lay out, and then we started the process of everything from fencing. And I was mentioning to John, a lot of people might see the glory with what we did with Watermaya,
but they don't know
the story. They see the glory, but they don't know the story.
So, when you started adding weight and stuff,
yes.
is this the time that you quit your job?
Yes, yeah. When I quit the job at the time, I was relatively healthy.
Yeah.
But it's when I started. You see, when we got together to make that big run to make money, I opened up the aspect of greed, accumulation. That was a drive. And with me, I'm a person, I go all in. Mind, body, when I do something, right? So if I'm going all in for money, I go all in for the food, all in for I'm accumulating.
That's our African mentality. That's our leaders' mentality. They check in everything for themselves.
Absolutely.
So really inspirational. So we'll have more talk as we proceed.
We'll have a chance to follow up, get a chance to go into some of the things behind what we did with farming, because there's so many lessons we've learned over the last
I will come
years.
to your farm. We show the guys what's happening in details. What am I showcased? The glory and how the farm is. We want to get to the details. So guys, if you guys are in support of that, just encourage us to go on. And Kunga started a YouTube channel as well.
Absolutely. We started our particular channel, Back to Nature, one word, space, Africa. So Back to Nature,
space, Africa.
Yeah, Back to Nature Africa, because eventually we'll have Back to Nature around the world.
Yeah, when he told me you had started the YouTube channel, I went to look for it and it was like, whoa, there's so many, But, So Back to Nature Space Africa. I'll share it on my description box below. So guys, you just go in the description
we'll
box.
highly appreciate you guys subscribing and getting a chance to share what this journey is that we are on, and then continue to support this gentleman. He puts more work into what he does than you guys. You guys just think he puts a camera on and then drives around. No, I spent the last couple of days with him, and to see the amount of effort, the time to put in work to bring content to the viewers. So make sure you comment, you share, you like all the good stuff that happens on social media to support this gentleman. Watch through all the commercials so he can get a chance to monetize his channel and keep on supporting the movement. So with that, thank you so very much for having me here today, my brother.